Okay, I wanted to talk about a little bit about Parshas Bay. So before I started, I wanted to say that I'll say a shtickle Maisa and how it's Negeah. Maisa being as follows. There were two collectors, a Yid and a guy. And they used to go, they worked together. They went around to all the houses, banging on the doors. And, they would collect the money, and then they would split it, the Yid and the guy. Sometimes it looks like that if you go in yeshiva, you're not sure who's the Yid, who's the guy. But that's everybody has to make their own decisions. But anyways, so the Yid tells this guy, listen, it's coming up a Jewish holiday. You need to act Jewish and dress Jewish. And you'll come with me, and we'll go on Pesach, we're going to go to somebody's house, and you're going to have the greatest meal ever. Because they're going to pull out all the finest china and all the finest dishes, and they're going to serve a Suda like you can't imagine. So the guy said, Gavaldik. So he dresses up, is all ready to have this great meal that's coming his way. And he sits down, and first he sees that everything taka looks beautiful. But first they go into a whole thing. The guy pulls the Kiddush, and he starts giving a whole drasha on the Kiddush. He's talking and talking and talking. Finally, at the end of the Kiddush, he gets a little drop of wine. He's chalishing over there, waiting for something. Nope, nothing's coming. Then they start saying more things. All of a sudden, they take out this hard bread. Looks like a cracker. Like it doesn't look like it has any tamureach. If he would know that everybody paid $60 a pound, would be another story. But anyways, they say, so what is the guy who's running the Seder? He takes the matzah and he breaks it in half and he puts it away. So again, they're teasing him. They took the food and they put it away again and gave him nothing. And then he was getting frustrated. So finally they took out something. They took out a cold boiled potato and they gave everybody a little piece, dipped in salt water, no tam, no rayach. This guy is mamish going crazy. This is what I come. This is how the Jews eat. There's mamish, they're teasing me. He almost couldn't hold out anymore. Finally, he said, okay. But then came Magid. So then there was a drasha for an hour. Everybody's talking. Nobody's eating. He turns to the other guy and says, this is what you, quietly, he says, this is what brought me here for. Nothing going on. Fine. Finally, they finished the Magid. Came Nochamal Kiddush. Finally, they got another little drop of wine. Still going crazy. And then, okay, so they got the matzah, everybody got a normal piece. But then they came out and they brought the most bitter thing he ever tasted in his life. And they told him he has to eat a big piece like that. And the guy said, that's it. Ich ken shei nicht. And he got up, he ate his maror, and he stormed off. He said, this is not for me. If this is how the Jews are celebrating, not for me, he ran off. And he goes over to the after and he starts cursing him out. He says, I don't understand. This is what you brought me for. He says, Shaita, had you waited a little longer, right, you would have had the best meal you ever had. We go through life, I'm using it as a shtickle musahaskel. We go through life, so we have all kinds of tsaras coming our way, and we don't know. First you get a little moror, and you get a little mashahu of what to eat, and you make a bissel panasa here and a bissel panasa there. The life is hard. But if we wait till the end, then in the end you'll get kesudas shleima b'shaitai. Hopefully in this world and the next world, and if not, that's zicher na'olam ha'emes. That's the Maisa. So when I'm saying it in P'chinas that people have tzaras, you see it, but Yetzias Mitzrayim, the same idea. Klal Yisrael had tremendous tzaras, right? So what did they do? So they had to wait for the Geula Shleima. They got a Geula. We also have to wait for the Geula Shleima. Mashiach, Ritz Hashem, will come soon. I think you said Thursday. Okay. Uzziah starts off the parsha, and he asks a kasha that everybody else asks. He says, "Vayichaber Hashem es libay, Yachber Hashem es libay of Parai." So, what kind of choices you give Parai? Here, they say, "Let my people go," right? And then the next thing you say is, "I made him stubborn, and he's not going to let him go." So, what kind of bchira is that, right? So, in the Zohar answers it, "Ashrei ha'am yodei trua." What does it mean, Ashrei? What kind of answer is that? So, That's all he says. So it says there, Lashon, that our nation, Klal Yisrael, knows why HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Maria Umetiv. Period. The Klal Yisrael understands. How do you see it for Ashrei Ha'am Yoidei Trua? We know Trua, because the word Trua has in it the word Ra'ah. Reish Ayin Hey. Right? This is already not the Zohar. This is already, you could ask Kashas on it. But if you take the Taf Vav of the Trua, which is left over from the Ra, you're left with a Taf, which is Mispakat and 4, and a Vav, which is 6, and 4 and 6 is the Yud's representative of Shem Havaya. As you know, the Yud is always representative of Shem Havaya. You see, the Ra is Mitzad Echad, and the Shem Havaya is Mitzad Toiv. And then that says, Vayayim Hashem al Moshe Bayal Parai. The Arizal starts off saying that Parai loy haya makir b'Shem Havaya. He only knew Shem Elokim, right? He only knew Midas Hadin. There was also pshat in that Zohar that Ashrei Ha'am Yodei Trua, that Parai was only makir in Shem Elokim. He was never makir in Shem Havaya. As you know, that we're learning now inside about the kilkulim that were needed l'tzorech habriya. The Baruch Shalom created a world. He could have made a world all good, then we have nothing to do, right? He made a world that has kilkul in it, and it's on a parallel, is a tzad kedusha and the tzad harad on a parallel level. And in order for us that we should have, when we do a mitzvah, it should be schar l'tzadikim. When we do a avera, it should be einish l'rishon. So Rabbi Shalom created kilkulim dafka in order for us that we should appreciate the good and get a schar for it, and on the bad we should obviously not have it. But what it's teaching us is also that when Rabbi Shalom gives a person an einish, a person cannot be miyayish because of the einish. A person has to take the einish and say thank you Hashem. You're not really meaning it, but it means in the sense that now I'm getting my Eisara, like this guy who's sitting eating his maror, right? If he would wait a little bit, and he'll realize that this tzaras that he has now is just a kapara for all the averis that he's doing. B'hai Alma, so such a kapara is priceless, because that's nitzchi, and the pain that he has here is not like that. Somebody came to me yesterday, a wealthy person, and he tells me, he says, Rabbi, I have a headache, it's ruining my life, I don't know what to do. So I said, I don't either know what to do, I'm not a doctor. I say he wanted a bracha, he wanted eitzes, and we just learned that if a person wants to see mazikim, he should burn the shilya of a black cat that's a b'chaira and stick it in his eyes. Maybe that would have been a refuah for him, I don't know. But it's not something that, it's not medicine that's practiced today. Maybe black magic, basically. It's a Gemara in brachas. We brought it here. I didn't understand what really was the tachlis of it was. The point is that when a person has tzaras b'hai alma, he has to look at the tzaras as a kapara, as a good thing. I b'shas ma'isa setut vei, and in setut vei shra. Vayitzaku b'nei Yisrael. This is the whole story when a person goes through such a matzav. That is the story of Yetzias Mitzrayim. That's why we say every day, Mantiska Yem Tzescha Me'eretz Mitzrayim. You have to remember it. Because I'll call tzara shalei tavai. Remember that the end isn't here. That there was a geula in Mitzrayim. There was an X amount of time. It was 210 years. Our geula will also be hopefully earlier, but not later than year 6,000. So, any time a person has a tzara, he has to remember Zeicha Li'Yetzias Mitzrayim, that just like Klal Yisrael had to go through all the years of Shibud and Tzaras and everything else, but that was the Kapara. And Grada in the Zohar and the Parasha, he brings down about Iyov, when he talks about the Tzaras Klal Yisrael had, because the Kasha of why did Hashem make Parai's heart he hardened it, right? So the Zohar brings 10 pages about the tzaras Eve had, and then it says that the reason why Eve had the tzaras is because he was a Gilgal of Terach, and Terach was the Shirish of Klal Yisrael because he had Avraham Avinu, and Terach was a Oved Avodah Zarah, so he had to be, Eve had to be, since he was Shirish Neshama of Terach was his Shirish Neshama, so he was a Gilgal, so he had to have a kapara for what the Averis that Terach did, and that's why Eve had to suffer, right? So what is really the Zohar is telling us? We don't know Cheshbonis. Eve suffered so much, and really, what was the Cheshbon? The Cheshbon that we could never know. So the Cheshbon that we could never know is Pshat, we don't know. So I say the time is short, so I just want to say, as a chizuk, anybody al kol tzara shaloi tavai, that's Zeichel L'Tzias Mitzrayim. The Geula always comes at the end, and you just, as they say, hang in there. Mashiach is coming.